Hello and welcome everyone. Today I have prepared some scenes from my gameplays that display certain tactics and strategies. We will discuss the scenes shortly, aiming that everybody can hopefully learn something new about the game and viable strategies and tactics. As always, your feedback in the comments below is highly appreciated. Let's start now with strategy number 347. Why start with number 347? Why does the moon affect our sea level? Why is there a sheep in my bathroom? All good questions, but the one we are going to answer is, what is strategy number 347? We are playing the Roman infantry, and our teammates are trying to push through this little valley into the enemy base. I am trying to figure out a way of being helpful, but while doing so my troops stand alone in the forest doing nothing. Is this bad? You might ask yourself. It depends. In this situation my troops would rather stand in the way of my teammates would I send them into the valley, whereas they would be completely alone and helpless would I send them towards the enemy base. Now I see enemy foxmen that are trying to flank my teammates. My troops are well rested and ready to fight, so I can fend off the attackers and protect my teammates' rear. This makes it clear that standing around doing nothing is not bad when you're close to allies and ready to support them whenever it is needed. Next up, we will talk about strategy number 100. As you can see, the enemies have made their way into our base. It's up to me to successfully defend it against Roman infantry, cavalry, and what seems to be one levy pikeman unit. But this is a jack-in-a-box trick. He actually put 2 levy pikeman units on the same spot, letting me pass with my infantry around him, while he is useful like throwing a flamethrower from a Titanic at the iceberg. He could have been helpful, but not the way he played it. With ease, I maneuver my squads to his rear, and even though I was outnumbered, I managed to fend off the enemy troops while still managing to keep my troops alive. Next up is strategy number 0. Why is this number 0 now? Because 0 stands for nothing. Nothing is exactly what you can do versus a Germanicus with his vengeance active in the match. I didn't realize that I was trying to fight a Germanicus with my teammates here in the end. And even though he was heavily outnumbered, as his troops even routed due to being surrounded by us from every side, we couldn't finish his units off. After I clicked his unit to see that he is in vengeance, I understood that nothing can be done to beat him for the time being. So I withdrew my last surviving squad into a corner where I set up stakes just so this enraged monster couldn't come close to me too soon. As soon as his vengeance buff went inactive, we easily managed to kill his last man and secured the victory for this match. Now comes a strategy that you can try to pull off when it seems like your team is going to lose, but you really want to snatch the victory out of the enemy's clutches. Pretty much like I did in the sneaky RT video that I will link in the outro of this video. Here we see an enemy infantry player trying to capture our base. We still have our units in reach, so we come back to scare the attackers away. And exactly as planned by this player, all my teammates see the threat as defeated and choose to run for the enemy base once again. But this player has a cheeky tactic. He is hiding in the forest pretending to be gone, so that once we all left, he can go to capture our base once more. Unfortunately, he left one unit within watchtower view range instead of blobbing all his units as far up in the forest as possible. His plan did not work out this time, but make it your plan next time and gamble for a sneaky victory. Your team will love you for it if it works out. Stake tactics. Probably one of the more interesting game mechanics, as infantry stakes not only allow to sustain control over an area, but also, if placed well, can catch an enemy off guard and kill half their units without risking to take any damage. The best locations to place infantry stakes from my experience are the places where the enemy troops would leave a forest on their way to your base, since the stakes would be hidden from the trees and are not easy to distinguish from the surrounding wood. In this example, we use the southeastern forest on the map Marathon and try to defeat any enemy units that come through. As you can see, the stakes are not visible without their outlines, and now we wait for the prey. The first enemies have made their way through the forest, unaware of the devilish trap that we have set up. Just as planned, the enemy infantry doesn't notice the infantry stakes and loses half of his unit due to the bait of my archer friend. After thinning out their numbers a little more with our javelins, we send one infantry squad to deal with the rest. Now we get surprised by units coming from behind, but since we still have our units in the cover of the high grass and supported by javelins and archers, we are able to defeat the approaching enemies while not even losing one full infantry squad. I can really recommend this strategy, especially when you can bring 1 or 2 friends along to make this trap work out really well. Next up is the ever so important issue of defending your archers when you did not bring any melee unit to protect them. I herefore introduce to you the Circle of Doom. You simply place your archers at a cliff like this one on the map Teutoburg Forest and wait for the enemy cavalry to arrive so you can welcome them with your warmest arrow rain. This position is so powerful for archers, not only because you are safe on your back, but also because a cavalry charge would not only not kill your archers, but due to the fact that there is a cliff behind your man, also make any cavalry player lose probably half his units that run down the cliff, which is not very healthy. So the only option for the enemy cavalry is to engage in melee combat, which is still threatening enough, but gives your team a lot of time to support you, and in a half-moon formation like this, even the time to kill their horsemen before they can do so with you. The sacrifice. Just like King Leonidas has taught us, sometimes you have to sacrifice your man and even yourself in a lost battle in order to win the war. While this enemy cavalry is busy killing off my last horseman, my teammates take the opportunity and capture the enemy base. Once he realizes that his base is being captured, it is already too late and the victory is ours. Last but not least, one of the most important strategies, Order 66. Maybe you can already imagine how the strategy works, but you are probably wrong, because it has nothing to do with laser guns and Jedi. This strategy can only be played with Vercingetorix. First, you have it all seem like a normal day in war, your units run together and charge at an enemy unit, but then you prepare for Order 66. The key move is that you order Unit 2 and 3 to leave the combat, so that your commander is facing the enemy alone. What you aim for is having him surrounded by enemies. And now, as he needs help of allied troops the most, you execute Order 66 for profit. Now that we got rid of this bossy guy with the cool mustache, we are finally able to fight the enemy wherever it is needed. First we flank this infantry, charge these scorpions, then charge these scorpions, run for our life, run to capture the base, charge this squishy unit, flank their pikemen, and finally we win the game. Out of all strategies, this one might be the most important one. I can assure you that while playing this strategy, your victory rate will always be above 50%. I can even prove it, because what is the strategy? Order 66. And what victory rate are we aiming for? At least 50.5%. And 66 times 50.5 is what? It says it right next to my name on the scoreboard. 3,333. Illuminati confirmed. Are these numbers completely random and you shouldn't listen to me right now? Maybe. But next time you lose the game and your commander is still alive, think about me. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Be so kind and give me feedback in the comments below, and see you next time.